Ivan IV, known as Ivan the Terrible, was a Tsar of Russia. He ruled from 1533 to 1584. Ivan was a complex and contradictory figure. He was known for his intelligence, piety, and cruelty. He was a ruthless tyrant who was responsible for the deaths of thousands of his own people. He was also a visionary leader who expanded Russia's borders and transformed it into a major power. Ivan's reign was a time of great change and upheaval for Russia. He broke the power of the boyars, the traditional Russian nobility. He centralized the government and created a new class of service nobility. He also introduced a new legal code and reformed the Russian Orthodox Church. Ivan's reign was also marked by violence and terror. He was haunted by paranoia and suspicion. He created a secret police force, the Oprichnina, to eliminate his enemies. The Oprichnina terrorized Russia for years, killing thousands of people. Ivan the Terrible left a mixed legacy. He was a ruthless tyrant, but he was also a great reformer. He was a complex and contradictory figure who played a major role in shaping Russian history. Ivan IV was born in 1530, the son of Vasily III, Grand Prince of Moscow, and Elena Glinskaya. Ivan's childhood was marked by violence and intrigue. His father died when he was 3 years old. His mother ruled as regent but died when he was 8. Ivan was then raised by a series of warring factions of boyars. The boyars were constantly fighting for power. They neglected and abused the young Ivan. They used him as a pawn in their power struggles. This experience left Ivan deeply scarred. It made him distrustful of the boyars and determined to crush their power. Ivan witnessed terrible brutality during his childhood. He saw the boyars murder each other and commit acts of violence. These experiences traumatized him and likely contributed to his later cruelty. Despite the turmoil, Ivan was a bright and curious child. He was a devout Orthodox Christian. He was also an avid reader who enjoyed history, philosophy, and military strategy. In 1547, at the age of 16, Ivan IV was crowned Tsar of all Russia. He was the first ruler to assume this title. It signified his absolute authority and marked a turning point in Russian history. The title Tsar comes from the Roman word Caesar. It reflected Ivan's ambition to make Russia a new Roman empire. Ivan's coronation was a grand ceremony. It was full of religious symbolism and political significance. The young Tsar saw it as a mandate from God. He believed he was chosen by divine right to rule Russia. In the early years of his reign, Ivan implemented a series of reforms. He aimed to modernize Russia's government and military. He also sought to expand Russia's borders and influence. These reforms were met with resistance from the boyars. They saw Ivan's actions as a threat to their power and privilege. The stage was set for a clash between the Tsar and the old aristocracy. Ivan's reign took a dark turn in the 1560s. His beloved wife, Anastasia Romanovna, died in 1560. Ivan was devastated by her death. He suspected that she had been poisoned by the boyars. This suspicion drove him deeper into paranoia and rage. Ivan became increasingly tyrannical. He turned on the boyars with a vengeance. He accused them of treason, conspiracy, and heresy. He had them arrested, tortured, and executed. Their lands and property were confiscated. Ivan created a new military force called the Oprichnina in 1565. It was loyal only to him. The Oprichniki, dressed in black and riding black horses, became Ivan's instruments of terror. They roamed the countryside, terrorizing the population and eliminating anyone suspected of disloyalty to the Tsar. Section 5. The Oprichnina Instrument of Terror. The Oprichnina was a state within a state. It was ruled directly by Ivan. It had its own army, laws, and courts. The Oprichniki were above the law. They were free to rob, torture, and kill at will. Ivan justified the Oprichnina as a necessary evil. He claimed that it was the only way to crush the power of the boyars and ensure the stability of Russia. The Oprichnina had a devastating impact on Russia. The country was plunged into chaos and terror. Thousands of people were killed. The economy was ruined. The boyar class was decimated. The Oprichnina lasted for 7 years. It ended in 1572 after the Oprichniki failed to defend Moscow from a Tatar invasion. Ivan disbanded the Oprichnina but continued to rule with an iron fist. He remained deeply suspicious of everyone around him, including his own family. Section 6. A Tsar's Achievements. Despite the terror and bloodshed, Ivan's reign was not without its achievements. He was a skilled military strategist and a shrewd politician. He expanded Russia's borders significantly. He conquered the Kazan Khanate and the Astrakhan Khanate, bringing the Volga River under Russian control. Ivan also secured Russia's eastern borders by pushing into Siberia. These conquests transformed Russia into a multi-ethnic and multi-religious empire. They also paved the way for Russia's eastward expansion in the centuries to come. Ivan reformed the Russian legal system. He introduced a new law code, the Sudebnik of 1550. It aimed to unify the legal system and reduce the power of the boyars. He also reformed the Russian Orthodox Church, strengthening the power of the Tsar over the church hierarchy. Section 7. The Shadow of Madness. As Ivan grew older, his mental state deteriorated. He became increasingly erratic and violent. He was plagued by guilt and paranoia. He became obsessed with death and the afterlife. In a fit of rage, he struck and killed his own son and heir, Ivan Ivanovich. This act of patricide filled Ivan with remorse and despair. It also threw Russia into a succession crisis. With his heir dead, the future of the dynasty was uncertain. Ivan spent the remaining years of his reign in a state of profound melancholy and regret. He withdrew from public life, surrounding himself with monks and holy men. Section 8. Death and Legacy. Ivan the Terrible died in 1584 at the age of 54. His death was shrouded in mystery. Some historians believe he died of natural causes, while others suspect he was poisoned. He left behind a mixed legacy. He was a brilliant but flawed ruler who transformed Russia into a major power. However, his reign was also marked by terror, violence, and bloodshed. Ivan's legacy has been debated by historians for centuries. Some view him as a national hero who modernized Russia and strengthened its position on the world stage. Others see him as a ruthless tyrant who inflicted untold suffering on his own people. Section 9. Ivan the Terrible, in history's mirror. Ivan the Terrible remains one of the most fascinating and controversial figures in Russian history. He was a complex and contradictory ruler who defied easy categorization. He was a man of great intellect, piety, and cruelty. He was a visionary leader, a ruthless tyrant, and a tragic figure. His reign was a time of great change, expansion, and terror. He left an indelible mark on Russia's political, social, and cultural landscape. Ivan's legacy continues to fascinate and divide us. He remains a subject of intense historical debate and a powerful symbol of the complexities of power and the human condition.